what you got for us on this rundown, my brother?
I will say I have a lot of injuries on this rundown, so let's get into it.
No.
Sheesh, man.
Let's get into it, man. Bryan Danielson. This wasn't a work. This is real life. My guy is going to have surgery for his broken orbital bone injury, and this is horrible. I feel like we're at this point in his career where he doesn't need to be suffering any injuries, no surgeries. Like, what are we doing? And he literally just announced, he was thinking about retiring within the next year. And I truly believe he should, man. I don't think he should risk his body anymore because I feel like he fulfilled everything. I mean, most people think he's shaking your head. You don't agree with me, man? Come on, man. What?
No.
Well, look, are you looking at a viewership angle?
No, he's
or
not.
What?
I'm not even. I'm looking at a selfish fan who just loves Bryan Danielson so much that I just don't want to see him step away. Because let's just be honest. Bryan Danielson is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Like, in that ring, when the bell rings, nobody's touching him. Nobody's even lacing his boots. And on top of that, he was able to develop a character throughout his career that actually got over. Like, not only did he do it as a face with the whole yes movement, but he turned heel and got over as the vegan champion, the planet's champion, and it was incredible. So I love
my favorite
Bryan
runs
Danielson.
ever.
Facts. Yeah. It might be his best run, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see Bryan Danielson retire, but I do think that it's time for him to step away from AEW. And I say that with all due respect towards AEW, but the product they put on over there, the quality of wrestling they put on over there, sure, it's what Bryan Danielson likes, is what he comes from. But at this point in his career, I feel like that's just too much for him to take. Like, he's already had to retire once due to concussion problems. I don't want to see him getting hurt again. So I do think that it's time for him to step away from that type of wrestling, step away from the whole IWGP thing that he wants to do, the G1 climb, whatever. Like, step away from all that. Maybe come back home to WWE, have one last run, a very safe run, change your in-ring style to, do something more like a William Regal, where it was more mat-based, no more missile drop kicks, no more flying headbutts, none of that. Stay away from all that. Wrestle a safe style in AEW, maybe get inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, and then retire. But don't just retire right now. It feels too incomplete. I don't want to see him go out on an injury in AEW. I want to see him inducted into that WWE Hall of Fame.
Wrap it up, pal. It's been a great career. You've had more success. You have a wrestling career that everybody and whoever wanted to be a wrestler would dream of having. But it's time, bro.
Facts.
Breaking your orbital bone, man. Come on, dog. And you already have been forecasted personally to retire. Retire on your own terms. Have your last match at AEW. Have your last match at a bingo hall like you said you wanted to with whoever, and call it a day, man. Like, what more do you need to realistically give to us? I don't need another run from you in WWE. If you want that, then that would be incredible. I would love to see you go out on a high note in front of thousands of people at WrestleMania or whatever you want to do. One safe run, putting over the other talent. But ultimately, man, like, you're a legend, and you started in the indies, and you've had an incredible tenure in WWE and an incredible tenure in AEW, despite not winning the championship. But retire, man. Like, come back, have your last match, and then, wrestle in a bingo hall, like you said, and just bow out gracefully, man. Like,
yeah, man.
You had, like, I'm trying to see you alive. I don't want to see anything crazy happen to you. Honestly, if you don't ever get in the ring again, it's okay. Like, you've done so much for us, bro. Like, thank you for everything, man. But I want to see my wrestlers safe,
He deserves better, though, man. A Hall of Fame.
He is a Hall of Fame, bro. Like, what has he not done, bro? Like, what has he not contributed? This is like, bro, just go out on your own terms. You can go out on AEW and just say, I'm done.
So the thing is, you're saying to go out on his own terms, but this wouldn't be going out on your own terms. This is you getting a broken orbital bone and saying, yo, you know what? I've had enough. That's not your own terms. You're being forced into retirement.
I mean, sometimes life forces you to do things that you don't want to do. At the end of the day, you have the decision to make, man. I don't want to see wrestlers die in the ring. You know what I mean? Like you get to a point in your career where it's not necessary. And I can see if you just haven't had the career that you wanted. But Daniel Bryanson has definitely had.
I love how we always make that mistake of saying Daniel Bryanson.
We always, man.
It's like
it's so confusing.
That's the toughest thing because it's like
Daniel Bryanson, Bryan Danielson.
And it's like I feel like we all love him as the. My introductions to him was Bryan Danielson because I was a Ring of Honor guy, but I feel like he really came into our hearts as Daniel Bryan. So it's like I always want to call him that.
Super pause.
Super pause. But I always want to call him Daniel Bryan just because of that. But
Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryanson, because that's how he came into my heart. You know what I mean? Like Like Daniel Bryanson doesn't.
Why you keep giving him sin? Why you keep putting sin on the end of that?
It's Daniel Bryan.
I know it's Daniel Bryan, but I like Bryan Sin. It's just kind of funny.
It is low key.
It is, right?
Daniel Bryan.
But Daniel Bryanson has
Sir Daniel Bryanson.
Sir Daniel Bryanson.
Sir Daniel Bryanson.
Nah, but for real, Bryan.
Get better, man.
Bryan Danielson, man, I do wish you a speedy recovery. And honestly, you don't really need to give me anything more. If you want to, that would be, we would be humbled. But I want to just see you safe, man. And if this injury is the last straw, then you've had an incredible career. We don't need any more from you, man.
Yeah, man. Get well, man. Now we have another injury to talk about. Our guy Eric of the Viking Raiders. He just underwent surgery on his C6, C7. I believe that's like the disc on the bottom of the neck.
Dog.
Yeah, so he just underwent that surgery, and currently they're pushing Ivar as a single star. You guys want to see that? Me personally, I don't care. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I'm not even gonna try to pretend like, you know, I'm not really tuned in like that, but I'll see how it goes, you know. But I never really was tapped in with the Viking guys, you know. So. I'm sorry, y'all.
All right, look, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I'm gonna keep it a Millie Rock. I like Ivar. I like Ivar a lot, and I'm here. I'm here for. So one thing about me that you will learn from watching this podcast is that I have a very similar outlook to Big E when it comes to wrestlers that I like. Like, I like Bronson Reed. I like Ivar. I like Otis. I like these big dudes, pause. It's just, it gives me something different because, like, everybody on the roster can't look like AJ Styles or Austin Theory. Like, we need a variety, taller people, shorter people, larger people, skinny people. Like, we need that variety. So I've always had an affinity for, like, the large people. So, like, seeing Ivar out there having bangers with Kofi Kingston, seeing that his character is very different from everything else on that roster. Granted, it is a little kind of silly, hokey, but at the end of the day, you know, Sylvan's always crying about character and gimmick. At least he got one. So at this point, I'm here for an Ivar singles run. I wouldn't be mad seeing him capture the Intercontinental title or like not a tag title, but like, you know, the IC title or like the US title, something. Like, I'm here for the Ivar push. Push him. Push Ivar.
Look, Ivar is nice. He's incredible, especially for a big man. But
that moonsault,
yeah, bro, his moonsaults are incredible. I don't know how his opponents are even able to work with him in that capacity. Because my goodness, like, there must be a lot of trust. I think he's an incredible wrestler. If they want to give him a push, cool. Do I care? Absolutely not. And it's not because Ivar isn't great. It's really because of that gimmick choice. I just hate that Vikings. I've never cared about. It's a reason why, like, I be having issues with Drew. And, you know, I think Drew's incredible. I think he's phenomenal. But, like, the whole Scottish warrior coming out with the sword and, like, it's like, bro, like, I don't care. Like, cutting the ropes. Like, bro, I don't. Like, Ivar, like, that whole, like, I don't care about that. Like, I don't care about none of that Viking anything. Like all that stuff is just like that stuff is like 1985 to me. Like it's very.
I think that's why I like it.
I just don't like it. Like,
it's a nice little callback to the old school.
I mean, I get it. You know, I'm not mad at it. I just don't. I don't care for the gimmick as is. I mean, maybe if he can evolve it, but I don't know. I'm not into that stuff. But that's just me. That's nothing against you, Ivar. I think you're phenomenal. So if you getting a push, well deserved. Don't take anything I'm saying as personal. I just have a personal preference for.
Apparently he's well liked too, like backstage.
And dope. I mean,
apparently he's like really like they really love him backstage. Like he's a nice guy or something. So
yeah, man. Get better soon though, man. You know, C6 to C7 though is just nothing to play
that's
with.
That's insane. Yeah.
Shout out to Eric. I don't shout to you, Eric, man. I hope you get a speedy recovery.
Get well. Now, the merch numbers is out, boy, and I tell you.
Of course it is, Cooley.
Give me the
numbers. Give me the numbers.
Listen, LA Knight again is the highest selling shirt in the company. I'm talking about in front of Roman Reigns, our tribal chief, John Cena, the greatest of all time, and Cody Rhodes. Whoa. Yo.
Bianca Belair.
Is LA Knight the face of WWE?
Don't ask me no question like that, Cooley.
Hey, man. Hey, listen. I don't know.
He is.
He is. He's over, man. He's over.
At some point, we have to have metrics. We can't just ignore the metrics for the people that we like. At some point, we got to look at the metrics and say, you know what? The fans are taking to this. So this is what it is. And right now, I don't know how long it'll go, but right now, right this minute, LA Knight got it. He the hottest.
Jeez.
He's selling more shirts than Stone Cold Steve Austin, which it's crazy that Stone Cold is still on that list, by the way. That man retired.
Yeah, he's like number 4.
15 years. Yeah, it's like, what? But right now, LA Knight is looking like the face of the company. I'm on Instagram and I'm getting Slim Jim ads with LA Knight in them. And they're not even associated with WWE. It's just a random ad and LA Knight is there. WWE is doing press conferences, our press tours. You know who they're sending? They're sending Bianca Belair, who's the face of the women's division. And who's the guy that they're sending? Not Roman Reigns. Not Cody Rhodes. They're sending LA Knight. So at this point, it's kind of hard to argue that LA Knight is not the face of the company.
That's crazy.
And I would like to also point out to all the people out there who told me that Gunther was the star, I don't see Gunther in that top 5. Matter of fact, I don't see Gunther in that top 10 merch. I don't even see him in the top 10. You know what? Gunther got like the 57th best-selling shirt on WWE.com. 57th.
Sheesh.
That sound like a star to you? It don't sound like a star to me. But I'm just saying.
Shouts to Gunther, man. I mean, I don't know, Cooley. What you want me to say about this, man? Like, come on, man.
I know what you're gonna say about this.
Want me to say about this? Man?
I know what you're gonna say.
Of course, he has the number 1 selling merch in the company because he's the mega star. What do you want me to say about that?
But is he the face of the company?
Yeah, is he the face?
What do you think? Of course, he's the face of the company. Woo! Of course he is. I told you all. I told you this like 10 episodes ago. I said he's the future. And look, and the future is now. I said this. Look, you can't deny metrics. You can't deny numbers. It's my I'm not going to keep going back to this argument because I know I got a lot of flack for it, but you know, people getting on me about Orange Cassidy, but I think Orange Cassidy is just a product of not being booked. He's not booked right. He's just miscasted. I'm sorry. If he was booked to be a major star, they'd probably have their own mega star in their face of the company because this last time I checked, Orange Cassidy is pushing the most merch consecutively for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
And yet he's fighting for the Atlantic Championship.
I feel like what do you want me to do? When it comes to Orange Cassidy though, it's a very unique thing because it's like Orange Cassidy reaches that cosplaying audience. Whereas people are buying LA Knight shirts because LA Knight is just so hot. Like he the hottest right now, so they want to buy his shirts to be a part of that history. Orange Cassidy not selling shirts because he's hot. People just buying shirts to dress up like him for Halloween. Like he's like a cosplaying thing. So like I can't see him being the face of that company.
Of course, you can't see him being the face of the company because nobody has even opened their eyes or their perception to that be a reality. We have decided who Orange Cassidy is,
bro. Orange Cassidy would probably laugh if he heard this. If you told Orange Cassidy he should be the face of AEW, he would probably be like, "What?"
Of course he would, because even Orange Cassidy doesn't see what I see. I see what's really going on. People just want to follow their emotional instincts. They think that MJF should be the head of the company because of how he looks, how he operates, and who he presents himself as. And absolutely, 100%, I'm for that. I love MJF. I think MJF is a Hall of Famer, a future Hall of Famer, and he's one of the best in the world. We're not going to take that away from him. And I'm not bringing up, and he's 27, and I'm not going to bring up MJF to discredit him in any type of way in comparison to Orange Cassidy. But it's like you said, Qwan, we got to look at the metrics. And when I'm looking at the metrics and I'm looking at the numbers, I'm seeing that if you have a wrestler on your company who's been moving the most merch for 3 years, why wouldn't you in your right mind find a way to make him the head, the face of your company? Because you have some type of emotional understanding of what a wrestler should and shouldn't be? Is that the only thing that's stopping you? Okay, fine. Then you're just going to see what's going to happen. But as far as LA Knight, of course he's the face of the company. Of course he is. You can call him whatever you want to call him, an attitude era ripoff, just a fusion of The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. But at the end of the day, the people like him. You can call the people like him.
What a damn fool call LA Knight?
Company.
Damn fool called LA Knight Rock Michael Sean or something like that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, right? It's like, and people don't like him. It's like, bro, who cares? Who cares? The same people who are saying Orange Cassidy is just some type of gimmicky. It's like, who cares? He's selling the merch. He's moving the product. So
hey, you can't argue with the metrics, but at the end,
we can't argue with numbers, man.
The merch ain't the only metric. At the end of the day, them TV ratings mean a lot too. And Orange Cassidy selling all that merch, but having like the least watched segments of AEW show, that says a lot.
It's like you said, Qwan, bad booking.
He got some ill merch, by the way. Orange Cassidy merch don't look like wrestling merch. It look like a t-shirt that I can just wear with my regular outfit. He got some hot merch, man. But shout out to Orange.
Yeah, he do.
And shout out to LA Knight.
I'm gonna have to check his merch out. I'm gonna have to check his shirts out and stuff, you know. Oh, he do. Okay. All right.
Bro, I would rock that.
I'm gonna have to wear some on the 18th or something, you know.
Let's just keep ignoring the fact that he's had the highest selling merch for 3 years. You know, let's just not pay attention to that. You know,
freshly squeezed. That's dope.
I don't know if he's the face of that company. He doesn't seem like the face of the company. Hey, what are you talking about?
If people turning the channel when that motherfucker on there, then I don't know.
It's because it's bad booking. If you book somebody bad enough. You know what I'm saying? We've seen it with Vince, bro. Vince could book somebody so bad that we all are just on the same accord of like, you know what? We're done. We're not even. You know what I mean?
Yep. Come on. I feel it, man. Well, shout out to LA Knight. You know, the numbers looking crazy. Yeah, but
hey now.
I want to go.
I said hey now.
I want to go back. Nah. I want to go back and talk about some former wrestlers, man. Some former wrestlers. They've been in the news lately. Let's talk about Matt Riddle. Y'all remember Matt Riddle?
Oh, whoa, yeah, I do.
Yeah, y'all remember? Yeah, y'all remember
Matt
Riddle?
He's not a former wrestler. He's just not signed.
He's the guy that got fired for being a sexual deviant, right?
Yeah, let's talk about some wrestlers that's not in WWE anymore. All right. He really said that. He really just said that. Wow. We're going to just skip over that, you guys.
He got fired for being a sexual deviant. It's the truth.
Yeah, that's facts. Now, let's talk about Matt Riddle and RVD. Yeah, I know. That's two random names together. I know. They have a match set for Big Time Wrestling's The Reunion 3 in I believe, March of 2024. Now, this is the most randomest news I've come across this week. I'm like, what is going on, huh? I don't know what's going on. Shout out to Big Time Wrestling. This is crazy. I don't even know. This is so random. What's going on?
They must got bread. They must got bread to pay to be able to afford that. Either that or Matt Riddle just needs some money because, damn, Big Time Wrestling. Yeah. That's like a dream match right there. Then it's in Big Time Wrestling.
I don't know if it's as random as y'all think it is.
Oh, I don't think it's random at all. I think it makes sense. Those two dudes are some, they partake in the tradition of blowing the tree. So
yeah,
I see that aspect of it. It's random because of where it's taking place. Like it wouldn't be random if it was in WWE or if it was in AEW, but big time wrestling.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna hold y'all. I don't know much about big time wrestling. I don't even think I've ever.
I believe they're from the Bay. I think they was formed in the Bay or something like that.
I think it's a bag. I think they're getting a great bag, and I wouldn't be mad at seeing them as a tag team at AEW, to be honest.
Right.
I think RVD and Matt Riddle tag team in AEW is money.
I'm not mad at that. I mean, if it can't be in WWE, then might as well.
Yeah, I think it's money.
Actually, no. Tony Khan, man. Tony Khan, do not sign Matt Riddle. I'm sorry. I love Matt Riddle, but if he couldn't get his act together in WWE with those handcuffs on him, just imagine what he's going to do with a leader like you who clearly can't lead. Like, come on, Matt Riddle.
Wow, that is crazy.
Y'all remember when Jeff Hardy went to Impact drunk and had a match with Sting and they had to throw the match out because he physically couldn't compete. He was out there stumbling around drunk. Like Matt Riddle, man, he's liable to do something like that in AEW. I don't know. I don't trust the leadership.
I don't know. Because I don't think Matt Riddle's issues are necessarily the same as Jeff. Like we haven't seen Matt Riddle get in the ring and like just completely destroy himself to the point where he can't wrestle. It's just his life outside. I've seen him get
suspended for drugs twice, though.
We have. I'm not saying that he's not.
It wasn't weed because weed is legal in WWE. It wasn't.
Yeah,
weed.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying he's. I absolutely. I'm not saying that he's not partaking in the prerequisites of hard drugs. You know what I mean? The weed and maybe a little bit of the booger sugar. But that's just not me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Packs from Freaky Zeke, you know what I mean? Man.
The little prerequisites before he gets to the terrible stuff. You know,
he said Freaky Zeke.
He buying packs from Freaky Zeke and getting it in.
Oh,
but it's not. But he ain't Jeff Hardy, man. He ain't showing up to matches and not performing.
Yeah.
So
that's wild.
Yeah.
Now speaking of signings, Ric Flair. Yeah, I said it. Ric Flair signed a multi-deal with AEW. And the funny thing about this, not because he signed, funny thing about this was as soon as he signed his deal, this man called off MJF. He called out MJF, dog. You know what MJF said? I wouldn't mind doing a promo with Ric Flair. That would be dope.
No,
so we might get it, brothers. We might get it.
I reached out to Ric Flair to be on the pod. So congratulations, Ric Flair. I hope that you have a great time in AEW.
That's wild.
And I hope you do the very best that you can. And I mean, hey, if you want to come out of retirement and wrestle some young whippersnappers, I'm okay with that. And we will see you on Wrestling with the Homies one day.
How old is Ric Flair?
Man,
Ric Flair is 74 years old, going on 75 years old. Bro, and he just signed a multi-year deal with AEW.
Look, Ric Flair is cleared.
I think he signed for 4.
Ric Flair is cleared by doctors to take bumps. I think we should let the guy do it. We'll see you on the podcast, Ric Flair.
Oh, my God.
His doctor do not love him.
Tony Khan, what are we doing, Tony Khan? Tony Khan, you just lost your most marketable women's wrestler, Jade Cargill, who's a future megastar. You just lost her to WWE. And then you lost a hot up-and-coming wrestler, Brian Pillman Jr., over to WWE. We got MJF's contract coming up in 2024, and he's flirting with the idea of wrestling in WWE.
I think he already.
We got Will Ospreay coming over to the States, and he's flirting with the idea of showing up in WWE. So your reaction to losing this young talent is to sign Ric Flair, 76-year-old Ric Flair.
So 4 years, 74, and he will be 78 when his deal is over.
What are we doing? Somebody please help me understand, because I don't get it. I don't see
Congratulations, Ric Flair.
Congratulations,
Ric Flair. I'm glad you're coming out of retirement. You know what I'm saying?
We'll see you on here.
We will see you on, the Wrestling with the Homies, so you can discuss your plans.
I don't know.
We have a lot to talk about.
after these pack-ups, I don't know if Ric Flair gonna want to come on here, man.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm gonna be honest, man.
This is
Tony
dumb.
Khan. I think dumb. Tony. I just think I don't know what to think about you right now. I don't necessarily hate Ric Flair being in AEW as a managerial role, as a producer, or as someone to just kind of I don't know. Ric Flair can be advantageous in a myriad of ways as long as he's not in that ring. If he's not in that ring, then I don't care what you do. You be a manager for 4 years for all I care. But him being in that ring, I don't know.
It's crazy.
Maybe this is a play for Charlotte. Maybe they got Andrade over there, who's Charlotte's husband. They just signed Ric Flair. Maybe it's a play to try to sign Charlotte. Because if it's not, then this is pretty much when the Brooklyn Nets traded away their young talent, all their future, for Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. They're signing.
I mean, when
Ric Flair got the bag, Tony Khan emptied them pockets for Ric Flair, and this is Ric Flair. Sure. He's 74.
But when are we gonna be honest, y'all?
If you add up all three of our ages, it wouldn't be Ric Flair's age right now.
But when are we gonna be honest, man? Like AEW, and I said this before. I said this on for someone who gets a lot of flack for not being able to see the future, I say a lot of things that come into fruition. I said this 2 podcasts ago. I said
the only future you see is like 2 weeks from now. You don't look down the line. You look 2 weeks ahead, man.
Whatever. I said a lot of stuff that I say. You guys start iterating to me later in later podcasts. And I said 2 podcasts ago, AEW is not going to be able to hold on to a lot of their younger talent. They're not, just because the other side is really attractive right now. They're not going to be able to hold on.
We all knew that, though.
To the MJFs and a few other guys who really, really want to see that brass ring. It's not like, guys who've been over at WWE and have done their tenure and have seen what it's like and actually want to come over to AEW and do something different. So this makes perfect sense to me. It makes sense that we're seeing Ric Flair do a 4-year deal with AEW, who's done it all. It makes sense that you got to pull out a Paul White to do whatever he's going to do, and with his shaky knees. Like I just don't understand how all that weight is being supported on those knees, bro. Those knees look like they are going to crumble, bro. Like what is happening? But new talent that's in the company is not going to stick around, bro. They're going to want to see what it's like to be on that main stage. MJF wants to be a superstar, bro. You can't contain him. And why would he stay around after this championship reign? What else is there for him to realistically do in that company?
Wrestle.
Speaking of Paul, Big Show just returned to the ring on Dynamite, y'all. What is going on? I don't want to ever see another Big Show run again in my life. I'm saying that right now on this pod. I don't ever want to see another run. I don't know what is going on. Why is he back in his wrestling attire? Stay backstage. I don't want to see it again.
He's wrestling the show that we're going. Because we're going to Full Gear. November 18th. He's wrestling. Big Show is wrestling.
Hey, I'm selling my ticket, y'all. So whoever's listening to this pod, there's a ticket for Full Gear for sale. You will sit next to Qwan and Sylvan of Wrestling with the Podcast. Wrestling with the Homies podcast. What is going on, y'all? I don't want to see this, man.
I just said it the prior topic. I just said it the last topic, and I'm going to say it again. Tony Khan. Look me in my eyes, Tony Khan. You just lost your most marketable women's wrestler over to WWE. You just lost a hot and up-and-coming young wrestler, Brian Pillman, over to WWE. You might lose MJF next year over to WWE. And your response is bringing back Ric Flair and Big Show. What are we doing? This is TNA all over again. This is TNA losing AJ Styles and responding by bringing in Hulk Hogan and Sting. What are we doing?
I'm telling you what they're doing, man. All they can do. Tony Khan is Look, Tony Khan can't keep new wrestlers who haven't experienced WWE right now because WWE is not a horror story like it was 4 years ago.
So you know what you do? You go sign young talent and prime them up for that spot. Go get a young guy to take MJF's spot when he's gone. Go get a young guy to take whoever's spot when they don't go sign 70-year-olds. Like, come on, man. What are we doing?
But that's the thing, though. It's like I firmly believe he's not going to be able to keep any young talent for too long because a lot of talent right now that's younger, that hasn't experienced WWE, wants to go over there. They do. A lot of these guys want to see what it's like on the other side of the pond because it's popping right now. It's hot, and it's hot on a very major level. And a lot of people respect Triple H. So I do see why Tony is in this bond where he is in his bind where he's signing all this old talent because, quite frankly,
especially
these
with
are the only guys that really want to be
especially
over
with
there.
Vince McMahon.
And when you are seeing the drawing
picture,
power
like,
of
I guess
Paul White
sense.
or Ric Flair or whatnot, it's like, well, this makes sense. This could put some butts in seats. And these are guys who actually really want to be here and probably want to be here on a longer term basis. I'm not going to invest all this money into these young talents who at some point are just going to be like, all right, it's time for me to move on, i.e. an MJF, i.e. a Jay Cargill, i.e. even a Cody Rhodes who wanted to stay but decided to leave. I see Tony Khan seeing what's happening. He's seeing that Cody Rhodes is a megastar. He's seeing that Jay Cargill is going to become a megastar. He's seeing that MJF is most likely going to possibly leave and become one of the biggest stars that he built from the ground up with his hands. It's going to be tough for him to really have that emotional intelligence to say, I mean, honestly, not even emotional intelligence, but honestly, ego. To put his ego aside and be like, look, I might just be a prime company to prime up young talent to get over to WWE. Instead, he signs the talent that has already been washed, i.e. Adam Copeland, because he wants to be there, i.e. Daniel Bryanson, because he wants to be there, i.e. John Moxley, because he wants to be there.
If y'all call him Dan Bryanson one more time, man, put some respect on
Daniel Bryanson. Daniel Bryanson.
Put some respect on my man's name, man.
I'm just saying, bro, like, look, at the end of the day, Tony is scared, man. He's scared because he's in a vulnerable position, and it's tough. I understand. I mean, Vince was in the same place.
I'm gonna let y'all know now. As soon as I hear Big Show's thing, I am going to get popcorn. I don't even like popcorn.
Oh, facts.
I don't even like popcorn, but I'm going to go get some popcorn.
Hey, if I hear, well, I might just go to the car. I might just be out of there.
I think he's gonna get booed, man. I think people are going to legitimately boo him.
I am. Listen, Big Show's a legend. I love him, but I am booing, and it's not it's not anything towards him, but it's just the situation that we in. Like, we should not be watching Big Show in a match on pay-per-view.
Bro, where do you think Adam Cole is going to go once his contract is up? Yeah. I'm telling you, he sees this.
So the thing is, with Vince McMahon completely out of creative now, it's like, do I really want to stay over here, or do I just
anything is possible?
Hey, anything is possible.
I'm telling you, dog. And then, bro, when Punk pulls up to WWE, it's gonna be really tough for Tony Khan, man. Like I see Tony right now. I see the predicament he's in, man.
Hey,
but he's got to ride it out. And like I keep saying, 4-5 years, the worst 4 to 5 years of the company's history and existence. It's happening. It's happening in real time.
Yikes.
We haven't even seen the worst. Watch when MJF leaves. Watch when Adam Copeland gets injured. Watch when Christian retires. Bro, I'm telling you, bro, these are things that can happen, man. Like, we're not dealing with young prime stars. We're dealing with aged people. Like, this is very short-sighted, dog. Big Show looks like man. Big Show looks like a house with 3 sticks as a foundation. Like, it's just like, bro, it ain't gonna work out. We know he looks like he can fall at any given point, dog.
His right leg was bent like a question mark. It was like, what the bro?
Bro, he just
well, it's the Big Show.
They're gonna try to sign Matt Riddle.
When Sylvan said a house with 3 sticks, I thought about the house from Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yo, funny side note, man.
Dog,
funny side note.
It's bad.
When I was a kid, bro, I genuinely in my heart thought that Big Show was singing his own theme song. Like when I would hear that,
bro,
I thought so too.
I thought that was him, bro.
Same.
I thought so too.
Man.
That's all I got for the rundown, y'all, though, man. To end it off with Big Show, that's all I got, man.
All right, my brother. Well, look, we appreciate you for giving us that rundown. Now, it's time for my favorite segment, personally, because, you know, I love showing love to my favorite black wrestlers. This is the Black Wrestler of the Week. And honestly, it's surprising that Sylvan brought him up earlier in this podcast because I actually wanted to give some love to Cedric Alexander. I feel like, Cedric Alexander is my Black Wrestler of the Week. I feel like he had a spark when his career started. He was a part of the 2-0 the Cruiserweight Classic. He was a part of the Cruiserweight Classic. He wasn't even like signed to WWE. They just brought him in as like an alternative or something. And he ended up being so impressive in that Cruiserweight Classic tournament that Triple H actually signed him. Matter of fact, the fans were chanting, sign Cedric Alexander. Like they were chanting that, which led to Triple H signing him. And he had a decent little spark at the beginning of his career. He was on 205 Live where he was putting on classics with Mustafa Ali and Buddy Murphy.
Yep.
Even Austin Aries at that point. Austin Aries was in WWE at that time, and he was having some incredible matches. 205 Live kind of folded, and Cedric lost his footing a little bit. He wasn't doing much until pandemic came. My favorite faction of all time was birthed. I'm about to say the Main Event Mafia. Wow. The Main Event Mafia. That's
Main Event Mafia?
Oh.
Hurt Business, baby.
Come on, man. Booker T is a legend for that. Booker T's going to hit him. But my favorite faction, one of my favorite factions of all time, the Hurt Business, was born. Cedric Alexander was obviously a part of that. He ended up winning the tag team championships with Shelton Benjamin. And, you know, I loved it. I loved everything about it. That went away. We haven't really seen Cedric on our TVs much since then. I'm loving the fact that Triple H seems to be trying to incorporate Cedric Alexander back into the product now that Vince McMahon is completely out of creative. So hopefully that leads somewhere because I want to see more Cedric Alexander on my TV. I feel like he deserves it for holding down the pandemic era. Being one of the few people that were coming to work during that pandemic era and actually putting on the show, you deserve some type of applause for that. So Cedric Alexander, you are my Black Wrestler of the Week. You are my nomination. Let's hear from you, Sylvan. Who you got?
What's crazy enough, I was gonna interrupt you, but it was literally the same. It was literally Cedric Alexander. That was my Black Wrestler of the Week. Yeah, and bro, I've been on my apology tour all pod, but I really wanted to apologize to Cedric Alexander as well, but I wanted to save it until this segment because I realized that my assessment was short-sighted and I was really emotional about him alluding to missing pro wrestling because I thought that, man, I feel like this guy hasn't really been trying hard enough in terms of being able to get over with the crowd. But when I really think about his career and his trajectory, him being a single star has only really existed in 205 Live. This guy has not been given a shot to show that he is a main event player and a prominent figure on the main roster by himself. And when I saw him last week, it was like, man, I see something. Like I see an edge. I see this guy's bulked up and he was incredible in the ring. And I think given the right opportunity and the right gimmick, this guy can really go the distance, man. And he doesn't get enough love and he got a lot of slack from me. So it was literally the same, Qwan. So, I mean, honestly, we can definitely give this to Cedric Alexander, man. And honestly, I think he's the only male single black wrestler on the main roster right now that's active. When we think about it, we don't see Omos. We don't see
Apollo Crews.
We don't see Apollo Crews.
We don't see Odyssey Jones.
Yeah,
I don't even think he made his debut. He got drafted and then he never debuted.
That's crazy.
We got Ricochet. Shouts to Ricochet.
But he
one
one drop rule. He black. Black is black.
Still black is black.
But
What I mean?
We still want that. We want that dark skin representation on TV too, man. We can't just have Joe Budden looking dude out there, doing backflips.
You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Ricochet though. Shout out to Ricochet.
Yeah, shout out to Ricochet. He's still black.
I think he follows us, or he liked our post or something. So shout out to Ricochet.
Yeah. Ricochet black. You know what I'm saying? Ricochet black. You know what I mean? But for our dark skinned brothers, it's good to see. He's the only one,
there, man.
Yeah, man. So I would like to see more. I would like to see him have something, man. Especially
Facts.
Hunter. Now that you're putting on these big, now that you're giving light to the workers, like give some more light to the kid, man.
Facts. Yeah, shout out to Cedric Alexander. He is definitely our Black Wrestler of the Week. I just want to shout him out for, just never giving up and, staying on track, still keeping his head high, even when it was the times were low. Yeah. And just waiting it out. And now he getting his shot. And I just really hope that, he progress and he succeed.
Let's get it.
Facts. Yeah. Facts. Shout out to Cedric Alexander, man.
Call him Alexander.
Come on the podcast, Cedric. Come on the podcast, Prime Alexander. We love you over here, man. We would love to talk to you.
We need to give him an Alexander the Great gimmick, man.
Alexander the Great.
That'd be kind of fire, dog.
Hey, bring in his girl. Bring in Big Swole and let them just
Big Swole.
Same, bro. Bring Big Swole in and just make her like the sphere. Like he just go around conquering lands, conquering wrestlers.
It's been like 2 years, huh?
It's been like 2 years since Big Swole got dropped.
Hey,
man.
Didn't
deserve that, man. He didn't deserve that.
Yeah, man. And the way Tony did that, man, that wasn't very nice of you, Tony.
It wasn't professional at all.
It wasn't professional at all.
This man went on Twitter and said we didn't drop her because she's black. It was because she wasn't good enough. Like that was so unneeded. Like, come on, bro. That was unnecessary.
Yeah, bro.
Shout out to Big Swole and shout out to Cedric Alexander.
Facts.
Now, fellas, it's time. It's time to burn bridges. It's time for
nobody coming on the podcast, man.
The infamous segment, the Pack 'em Up Awards, where we hand out Pack 'em Up Awards, the most infamous moment. I can't even talk. I still got that young 19 in me. The most infamous moments in wrestling that week. And this week, I'm sorry. I know Sylvan reached out to him. He's the nature boy. He's a legend.
But
I gotta pack up Ric Flair. I have to pack up the nature boy, Ric Flair. I have to do it because Ric Flair, we love you. We love you so much. We love you dearly. You are a legend. But Ric Flair, you are 74 years old. You look like you 84 years old. We do not want to watch you have a match with MJF. We don't want to see that. And the main reason I don't want to see that is because I fear for your health. I know you survived a plane crash. You survived heart attacks. You survived it all. You're like a cat. You got 9 lives. You just don't die. But Ric Flair, wrestling at 74 years old, you might die in that ring, Ric Flair. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Ric Flair getting carted off because he had a heart attack mid-match with MJ. Like, Ric Flair, no. This is the time when you go sit at home, do a podcast. Come on our podcast, actually. But don't step foot in that wrestling ring again, man.
That's my life.
I don't want to see. No. Terry Funk was the original. We saw Terry Funk wrestle until he was 98 years old. We don't want to see that with Ric Flair, man. We don't want to see that. Ric Flair, I'm sorry. I love you to death. You are the nature boy. You're the limousine riding, jet flying son of a gun, but I got to pack you up this week.
Yeah, you get.
And I'm not trying to ride Space Mountain. I'm definitely not trying to ride Space Mountain, my brother.
You ride Space Mountain, you're going to end up like this.
All right? You're going to end up like this.
That man Ric Flair said that he smashed Halle Berry. Y'all remember that?
Yes.
Whoa. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, he was Ric
Halle
Flair,
Berry ain't
bro.
touched Ric Flair. Come on, man.
He was Ric Flair. Man. He was Ric Flair, man. I mean, come on,
Ric Flair
man.
capping.
Halle Berry grew up watching.
Hulk Hogan cap, but I don't know, man. You never know.
Damn, Ric Flair took down one of our black legends. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, you know who I'm packing up, y'all? You know who knees is like this? I'm packing up Big Show. Because when I first heard that news, I'm like, no, I don't want to see this. Like, what?
Yeah, it's the Big Show.
It's like,
Big Show. You're 7 foot.
Get ready for something.
You're 7 foot. You're coming back. You're in your 50s. You're putting all that weight, that pressure on those very fragile knees of yours nowadays. Stop. We don't want to see no leg snaps, no injuries. We don't want to see no Paul George's, no Sean Livingston happen. I don't want to see none of that stuff on my TV.
None of that.
I do not.
Like, y'all remember that?
Yeah,
I remember Sid Vicious. He dived from the top rope and his legs snapped.
Yeah, I don't want to remember that, man. That's
like Big Show. What are you doing, Paul? Like, just keep it backstage, man. Like, I would have declined that, but you get in this pack, brother. You get in this pack.
You know, I'm packing up.
Tony Khan.
Tony Khan, baby.
Hey, look, wait. Before you go on your Tony rant, it makes sense. I packed up Ric Flair for returning. You packed up Big Show for returning, and they both got one thing in common.
Tony Khan. Tony, listen to me. I talk to you the most out of everybody on this podcast. Listen to what I'm telling you. Stop going for the short answers. Stop going for the immediate relief. It is not going to work out for you the way you think it is. This is very short-sighted booking. You brought back Ric Flair, which I'm okay with. But now he's talking about going into the ring, which I'm not okay with. And nobody on God's green earth wants to see MJF versus Ric Flair. Listen to me, Tony. And then you bring back Paul White, who just looks like he's about to fall over at any given moment. The man looks like a giant M&M dog with like just two squiggly legs and a big round body, dog. Like, yo, he looks like Paul White, man.
Oh, man.
Paul White looks like a literal popsicle, my dogs. Like, for real. Like, you are short-sighted in the way you are approaching things. And I know things are rough right now. I know you're really scared to invest into the newer talent, but the reality is that you need to do something quickly because your decision making right now, it's not going to go well for you, dog. I'm packing you up. I hope you get it together because I really want you to. I'm at a point now where it doesn't even feel good to talk about you in a negative light. I just want you to do better.
You love it.
I only love it because I was right. I try to tell people all the time, that business is business. And right now he's falling into the same mistakes that WCW fell into, that TNA fell into. It's unfortunate, man. He's not doing anything different. And it's looking like there's way more ex-WWE stars that are way past their prime than there are promising new talent from AEW. That's just me, though.
Hey, history repeats itself.
Mm-hmm.
What's the song? History repeats itself. Try and you'll succeed. Maybe Tony Khan will succeed signing all these old dudes. Who knows?
Man,
who knows?
All these. Oh,
but yeah, they got to get it together, man. We can't. We're like, this is a young man's game. I'm sorry, but like, we're not trying to watch 70-year-olds wrestle. Man,
I just want to take this time real quick, Qwan. We got Edge, we got Christian, we got Big Show, we got Ric Flair, we got Mark Henry, we got Jon Moxley, we got Chris Jericho. Who else am I missing? We got Keith Lee. Who else am I mixing, man?
This will be a stacked roster in 2009. Are you talking about former WWE?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. We can go all day. We got Malachi Black. We got Swerve Strickland. We got it's a lot. We got Andrade.
Andrade.
We got Miro.
We got Bryan Danielson.
Adam Cole.
Cole. Roderick Strong. Adam!
Yo, Roderick Strong.
It's a lot.
Yo, right.
AEW's roster is pretty much
WWE's
roster 5 years ago.
It's tough out here,
pretty
man.
crazy to see.
It's tough out here. I want better. I want better.
It's insane. Well, hopefully they get it together. Now, we have reached the end of the road, my brothers. If you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed to our channels. Hit that notification bell and turn it on. And shout out to what's homie name? He just commented right now. World War Joe. This man
World
is in
War
our
Joe's been on it.
Faithfully.
Let's get it.
Let's comments faithfully. Look, we appreciate you, my brother. I think it's Soft Serve D. It's a couple of y'all cats, man. Y'all be in these comments, man.
Shouts to OG Graham, man. He's been showing love too.
Oh yeah, shout out to the homies, man. Y'all really in these comments, man. Y'all make my day. Y'all seriously make my day. I love talking with y'all, man. So make sure you keep supporting, keep commenting, keep us alive. Keep us alive. Until next time,
Indeed.
This has been Wrestling with the Homies.